Well, Justin, I'm so excited to have Justin Colonia here with us. He's one of my favorite social media marketing experts. I've been knowing him for a couple of years now, and I want him to give you guys some tips and some tricks on how you can best leverage events and social media marketing. Justin, if you can introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, so thank you, China, for having me. My name is Justin Colonia, born and raised from the V. The V is short for Vallejo. If you guys don't know that rapper, that's E40.
Yes, yes.
so I do a lot of marketing and business management with Visit Vallejo. Visit Vallejo is a nonprofit marketing arm for Vallejo, where you know everything to get to know about Vallejo, where to stay, where to eat, and then where to have your adventure. So I do a lot of social media management, a lot of influencer coordination, really leverage the the community out here because it all starts with like one video and one positive kind of impact that we can make with the community.
Hmm.
Other than that, I do a lot of event coordination with like Vallejo Pista Sanayon, like an annual Filipino independence celebration we have out here. It's about to be our 40th in June. So
Wow.
every first Saturday, yeah, come out.
Okay.
Um, so with that, I do a lot of like influencer coordination again, and then trying to get a diverse crowd to really let people know, like even though you're not Filipino, you can celebrate a community.
Hmm.
Just to really give that first person kind of in depth look on what is Filipino culture other than lumpia and pancit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm. What I love about that is
yeah,
Lego is so diverse, right? So we're able to kind of like tap into different cultures and heritage without feeling like
oh
we
yeah,
wrong. So I'm excited that you guys definitely like tap into that. Um,
oh yeah, because like I think the biggest thing about Vallejo is like there's so many diverse cultures, and then kind of leaning on that because not a lot of people have access to like Filipino Independence Day celebrations that garner. I think we had like 20,000 at like one day on Mare Island. So that's not every day you can see that. So really kind of leaning in on like your strengths and like your core values, I think really shows on social media, especially because social, like that's the first word. Like you want to make that connection.
mm,
So how are you going to make that connection?
okay, I love how you
It's
tap
through
in.
your story.
So,
Yeah.
what do you think what is social media marketing, right? We hear it so many times. We think of TikTok and Instagram, but if we kind of like pull back the layers a bit, what is social marketing? What is it for? Like, why do we need it? You know?
Yeah. So social media, in my mind, it all comes down to one word is like attention. So how can you grab someone's attention and how can you keep it and then gain their trust, but also have them do an action of some sort, like, because in the world of corporate, you always have to have some ROI and some like CTA and things like that. But if you want to break it down to like the simplest way is just, can I grab your attention? So that's why we talk about like hooks and just like very like simple storytelling devices,
Okay.
and really just kind of getting that kind of attention for the consumer. So like on a simple anecdote, like when they talk about hooks, like they talk about like cause and effect, so you really want to think about what are you gonna what kind of value you're gonna provide, so save that towards like the middle of the meat.
Okay.
But for that first like kind of 1 to 2 seconds when you see a video or you see like the first photo, like kind of think about like, would I stop for this, because all it takes is like a swipe away or a close of an app to really kind of escape, so you got to really think, would
Oh,
you put yourself in that consumer mind?
okay. So the question I have is that you said it's all about attention, right? That's what we want to get. But we can get attention outside of social, right? So what makes social so important in this day and age to amplify our brand or to create experiences on social? Do we need social? Do you think every brand needs to have a social media strategy?
Yeah, it's actually not needed. It just really depends on who your demographic is, but it definitely helps. Like there are some brands that, their main audience is not on social media, and that it kind of makes sense. But to have that kind of global impact to reach those customers that you never even thought of, social is a really good tool to kind of test out your team's like creatism, you know, like really kind of play with kind of messaging and just like very like simple ideas, you know, like let's say if you're like a banking app, you can have like a real fun kind of quick video that has nothing to do with banking, but it kind of piques your interest about brand awareness, you know.
Mm.
So it's like that stepping stone into kind of getting to know who you are, you know.
So, what are some brands that you think that they don't need a social media strategist or strategy? Is there any ones that you've seen recently? You're like, oh, actually, they really don't need this because their market or their attention is somewhere else.
Yeah, let's see. So some brands that might not need it, that's really hard because if you think about each brand, like you can have one, you know, because what was that one that was really fun recently? It was like Duolingo. You know, Duolingo,
Right.
it had almost nothing to do about like learning languages,
Yeah.
but it was very like eye catching and it was very kind of you know, attention grabbing. You know, like what is this bird doing here? So let's say like if you're selling like something super niche and super essential that you never really think of, like post-it stamps,
Mhm.
you know, or like letter envelopes,
Yeah.
something kind of niche where you're kind of direct to consumer, kind of maybe before predate social media, you might not need it, you know. But for most cases, like if you can think of anything, um, like a pencil or a pen, like you can definitely have one for those.
No, I agree. And I do believe that it depends on like your ICP, like your ideal customer profile, right? Because I
Mhm.
think, especially in B2B, a lot of times they don't have any type of social presence, but they're making billions of dollars each month. And just because they're who's ever buying from them, they're not on TikTok, they're not on Instagram, they're going directly to their website or they're going directly to email campaigns. So I think to your point, I think you have to understand like who your audience is and then where they're at for you to like market to them. But there is one thing I want to talk about that you mentioned is that a lot of times brands they will have a presence on social that might be fun, but it doesn't quite relate to their actual brand. So do you think that's a disconnect, right? And do you
Oh
think
yeah.
that that's a strategy that brands should do to get more attention?
Yeah, so there's always that kind of pitfall when it comes to like disconnect between social media and like the brand. But um social media game is so it like the revolving door is so fast, you know. So like in my mind there can never be like a mistake almost on social media. Like yeah, there's the cancel culture. I get it. Like there's some purview that you should fall under, but if you have a team that is passionate about social media that really uses social media, you should just give them like free reign, you know, like definitely have some guidelines, but it's just that, you know, people that often use social media kind of think about it too much. You know, it's like, oh, like it has to be like this perfect messaging. It has to be this perfect call to action so that people can actually come to my restaurant or come to my like hotel or something like that. But all in all, people just want to be entertained. You know, entertain can still be educational. So that's how you really kind of can grab those folks. Is like, is this entertaining? That's your first question. Entertaining
Ah,
to grab their attention. And then we can think about all this like messaging and then kind of, you know, throw them in the funnel to see if they want to learn more. Because like I tell my friends a lot who ask for like social media help or just like trying to get their brand out is like you know you know artists more than you know some friends because you see that artist way more like in social media and like television. So it's kind of like the same thing is like you're not going to grab that attention's you're not going to grab that consumer's attention in the first go round. So if they keep coming back and consuming your content, they're eventually going to want to learn more about who the brand is, what do you guys provide, and like, you know, what's the purpose of all this. So that disconnect can be there sometimes, but you can kind of leave it up to consumer to kind of find out and really kind of dive deep on like, okay, like this content's funny, like there has to be a reason why it's so funny, you know,
mm.
like who's behind this, you know.
So pretty much you would tell a brand to like let it go. It's like have the freedom
Mhm.
to create no matter like what it's going to do to your brand. And it's like I guess it's all about A/B testing, right? Like figure out how
Yeah,
far you can go, how fun or funny you can go to see what like what relates
yeah,
to your audience.
exactly, because it gets kind of lost when you start tracing trends. You
Okay.
know, trends are very popular. Like, yeah, they work. Like trendy music very works, but to really stand out in the competition and really kind of start your own lane and really find your niche customer base, you really have to be experimental with your content, and really kind of do daily post, or even like just have a consistent kind of cadence when you're posting, so that people, when it pops up on your feed, they kind of know to pay attention, even if it doesn't work, like it's still hitting some way. And
Hmm.
then you can kind of just analyze more and be like, okay, so this resonated or this didn't resonate, kind of adjust on what you're trying to do.
Got it. Okay, so as the best social media marketing in the whole city of Vallejo, right? The whole city has the best
That's
social
so
media
funny.
marketing. What type of content do you think works the best when it comes to photos, videos, when it comes to collages? Like what do you usually use, and what is the ROI of that type of content? And kind of like what can you tell other brands like you need to try this because this will get you this, you know?
Yeah, I think it all depends on what you're trying to convey, but the most impactful thing, because for Rizza Vallejo, we primarily utilize Instagram. So those are very carousel based, but also the reels kind of have the most kind of shareable activity that we see,
Okay.
just because we leverage a lot of influencer and partnership kind of collaborations, just to really give that authentic feel that this person you can see in Vallejo, and you can kind of be them and experience what they're experiencing. So just for example, for our restaurants, we have a whole campaign for 10 days called Restaurant Week, and this is where we kind of leverage the community and really give the power back to the community to put on for your favorite restaurants. So we had like 30 plus restaurants, and we had around 200 participants at least provide a photo or like a testimony or a video. And then uh, and then they just really kind of be your kind of messengers out there to kind of say, hey, you should come here, or this is my first time here, or like, I can't believe Vallejo had all these great spots. So, but we usually see that everyone kind of leans into like the quick photos. Not everybody wants to be on camera and things like that. So quick photos are definitely where it's at.
So pretty much allowing your community to be your brand ambassadors, really. So like I guess, and this goes to like live in real life experiences, right? It's kind of allowing them to relate and connect to your brand in real life. So they'll want to create content that they can share with their own communities on social. Is that like the key, you think, to like great content?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think so how I see social media and how I see like event organization as well is like you always have to have a tie down. I always call it like an anchor tie down, just because you really want to relate social media to real life experiences, because it doesn't make sense to kind of just live on social media sometimes. You want people to be out there. You want people to experience that, because that's what the social media and the content is reflecting. It's reflecting real life, creating that FOMO feeling, and you just want to be there next time.
Hold on.
So
I'm gonna stop you for a
yeah,
second because you just said something that
sure.
is key for a lot of brands is that a lot of times we focus so much on social and we forget the real life experiences. And those are the ones that really matter the most because once you create great experiences, they'll want to create social content for you, and then you can just kind of amplify that and create more experiences. So I think that, don't you think that's where the disconnect is a lot of the times, that we put so much pressure on social and not enough on events, real life connection, real
Oh
things.
yeah. Well, because I think anyone can be a content creator, honestly. Like it's like the whole shift in social media now, it's you don't really have to have this huge following to make a really good impact. Like I think it's really about empowering your community to create content and share their experience, because when you combine all of those and you really empower them to share these experiences, then that alone can multiply into like a large creator, and your reach is like almost further and way more targeted.
Mhm.
Because let's say you invest in like a larger creator who has a ton of following. One, you kind of don't know if they bought that following, let's be
Mhm.
honest. But two is like, how do you know that their audience is your target audience that is gonna attend your event? So you really have to be mindful on these live experiences and make sure that you have like photo activations or like very cool fun experiences that they could share just to really inspire them, just even if they just want to share it with their family,
Yeah.
like that's a trusted already kind of like 5x 10x that you can already have out the gate.
Yeah. Because it's now as you know, it's real people that actually relate to your brand. And to your point, when you have big influencers, they're amazing, right? But a lot of times you don't know if those people are real that are following them. And then also you don't know if their audience really relates to your brand. They might relate, but you don't know how that's going to translate. So I think like creating mini communities yourself without hiring big, I've seen work the best when it comes to especially community-based like live experiences.
Oh
Um,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I think Vallejo is that best testing ground for my strategies and things like that, because ever since we've started to really change the way we kind of see social media on the Visit Vallejo platforms, um, more people have been requesting collaborations to leverage like our platform so that they can be seen. Like I gotta say, like I've helped and kind of inspired like at least 10 influencers now. Like I call them influencer or just content creators, just to kind of really put on for their city. It's like it's really hard to establish pride for a brand, and like Vallejo's not, like Vallejo's not what does it say? They're not unknown about brand, like they don't have the best reputation. But if you really kind of keep on going and really empower your community, like they will become your best messengers and they will feel that positivity, and that's something that they want to share continually. So just think about that.
yeah, because I think we trust other people, right? Vallejo can say they're the best city in the Bay, right? But if no one is saying that, are they really the best city? So I think it allows them to be like your brand advocates, like you said. And when you get people talking about it, and like if everyone's saying the same thing, people are going to believe it and become believers in your city or of your community.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Too many times people are like, Vallejo's a city of potential. But and I know that people know that, but it's starting to break through. It's starting to break through that there is a way that we can separate ourselves from that brand.
yeah,
Like instead of potential is like we're arrived.
yeah.
Like we're here, like we're having great live events on Mare Island, on the waterfront side, and people want to showcase that. People want to be there. People want to be a part of it, and with the rise of like LaRussell, he's
Mhm.
bringing lots of love and great attention and just very instilled community pride that was missing for a lot of years.
He
So
is
it's
so
really nice to even see.
And he's so proud to be from Vallejo. Like, we have a lot of other celebrities, but you don't really hear them talking about the V like Larissa does. So it's kind of like it makes you proud to even be from here that someone else is so proud to actually be from Vallejo?
Yeah, because sometimes like when you say you're from Vallejo, the first thing they think of is like, where's that? And then
Okay.
you got to say, oh, it's like Six Flags. But now you can say,
Well,
oh, like, do you know LaRussell?
yeah.
Like he's like, oh yeah, yeah. So that's the city you're talking about. So it's like that. It's like these associations that you can use in real life and then in social media. It's like these very small tidbits that you kind of drop in breadcrumbs, and then you kind of lead them to like an oasis. Like you lead them to like a paradise of just like prosperity and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I agree. So we've talked about social, right? And how social is a great way to get that branding touch point out. It's kind of like the way that they can see, right, your brand. But then let's kind of
mhm.
dig to live events. You as an event producer, how does that tie in with social media marketing? Like, what does that look
Oh
like?
yeah.
Why do brands need to tap into IRL experiences to really connect with their audience?
Yeah, so that's a big thing that I think I've started to jump into now, because um, with like kind of helping produce bigger festivals, and like helping nonprofits produce like drives and giveaways, and coming from like a DJ kind of artist curation background, I've noticed that it's these live events that create those moments. So just to kind of give you an anecdote, is like in a wedding, right? In a wedding, there's like the photographer, there's the wedding planner, and then there's me, the DJ.
Uh-huh.
Um, So the wedding photographer can't do their job without the DJ. So the DJ creates those moments on the dance floor that they take a photo of. So it's kind of like similar, like what I'm doing, especially in the live event and the live RRL, like community building, is creating those moments so that um, like content creators have like some substance and some tie down, and it really kind of sets yourself apart from just having like a social media giveaway campaign or just a like a one-off experience. Like it's um it's more of like a community based creator kind of hub or experience, to know that it's just regular people. Because sometimes you don't want to see your favorite like Instagram person at a town. It's like, oh, like it's just that experience. But if you see like your cousin or someone you kind of know that's attending, and they might not have a phone up, but they want to, like, you see them kind of enjoying themselves, like those are those moments that create they create a long-standing memory in your head with that brand, and like
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're kind of selling and things like that. So but as an example, like we're doing a really live event out in October,
Okay.
and it's one of like the main events,
In Vallejo.
Waterfront Weekend.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
in Vallejo.
Okay.
Yeah, so Waterfront Weekend, it's called Vallejo Fest, and right now we're kind of in the process of buying talent, and in that process, we kind of think about not only who has the most followers. Like we don't, again, like I said, it's not about the biggest followers, but it's kind of what they've done on social media and how they leverage that and what's their messaging. Because you have to think about who's going to align with the brand, not just through the music, but through their messaging and how they feel about the community. So I hop on the phone and be like, hey, do you know where you're performing? Like, are you from here? Like, you just kind of ask questions like, does this align with our community? So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of just, it all falls into place if you just kind of align with their morals and their values and what they want to do within Vallejo. Because just like going back to LaRussell, like he wants to throw shows here. He wants to be home all the time, and he wants to bring bigger brands and like investments to Vallejo, and that's what we kind of look for at Waterfront Weekend. We want artists that love performing to Vallejo, that you can really feel the passion and the love for the community, and that they'll continue to do it. Because just as like we say with the influencers, it all takes what's inside to really show on the camera. So with these
Mm-hmm.
same artists, like you can have the greatest songs, but it's all about that intention. Like, are you going to keep on doing this in Vallejo? Are you going to continue to foster your consumer base out here? So
Yeah.
yep.
But I also I like how you said that, because I think when someone really has a passion for what they're doing, or just if someone's really enjoying Waterfront Weekend, you see that passion and that excitement in videos or in photos. Like, and that's what drives it, right? So I love how we're connecting social content with like creating real life experiences, because it all comes together. Because you want to create the experience that has a passion, but then you'll see that passion in the social, which allows the consumer to see that, and that's a branding touch point. Then they'll want to come to your event, you get more money, and it all just comes like it just kind of
Yeah.
like a cycle, you know?
Yeah. It creates like this really good ecosystem of just like kind of making sure that you're just having authentic reactions, authentic moments, and like not having to really fabricate a story, because the experience that you have is authentic. You're putting everything that you have in the right mindset of just like community, taking care of one another, and making sure that everyone's there to have a good time. That's from like the artists to the vendors to the staff to the attendees. Like we're all on this really great wavelength, and then that really shows on social media. It's a really a great time.
I love it. I love it. So another question I have is, if you had to give a brand three tips on how they should get started with social today, combining social and live events, we'll do it together. What are three things that you would tell them? Three tips that you would give them so they can get started today and start activating and showcasing their brand online.
Yeah, so I guess three tips. That's a really good one because there's so many that you have to do. But the three tips is just be intentional. You know, like there always has to be, like, people pay attention to details. So if you're intentional with your strategy, with how you're creating like the talent, how you're creating like an experience, Like as long as you're intentional and you really care about what you're putting on, then it will come through really nicely. Like if you like even like the drinks, let's say you have a drink brand, if you're intentional on what that vessel is and it's not just a red cup or like, you have actual branding on it and it takes you to, it takes you deeper into the story and like what the event is about. People really feel that and like they take time to kind of like understand that. So number one is definitely intentional, attention or and then number two, let's say the other two ones is like authenticity. Like do you really love your brand? Do you love the people that are putting on for this? And like what kind of has this been done before or are we just doing it to make money? Like you have
Mm.
to really give that value and you have to really care about that user experience and that consumer experience because that it can really come off as like a money grab if you're just kind of rinsing and repeating kind of thing. It's kind of hard as an event producer. You always have to think of like, oh, what's going to set yourself apart, but sometimes it's just, did I put enough care into this? So
Okay.
and then the last one is just having fun. Like social media and life and like these events, they're all about having fun. Like um I think like the biggest thing that I tell social media content creators and like my staff when it comes to events is that it's gonna happen. Like the event's gonna happen. The content's gonna go out there. Like you just can't overthink things. If you're not having fun, it's gonna come through in the camera, and you're just trying to like push this out. You're just trying to get this event over with. But if you yourself is having fun, creating content, planning the event, talking to folks, um, you're just going to have an overall better product. Like you have to enjoy what you're doing because that messaging will come off to the consumer or the brands.
Maybe that's the biggest takeaway is that if you enjoy
Yeah.
what it's going to relate to your audience and it's going to relate on camera, and the people are going to see that and want to come to your events or buy from you or buy your drink brand or whatever. Maybe that's just like that. Maybe that's the message we can leave today is that when you're having
Yeah.
fun, we're having fun, right?
Yeah.
I know that's not
Yeah.
like the whole recipe, but I think that if you have that and that can translate on social or that can translate during your events, then I think you have a big piece of the pie that's done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are just looking. I think a lot when I think about energy or when I think about social media and like events, it's all about that energy, that vibe.
Mhm.
And you really want to instill that. That it kind of goes hand in hand with like hospitality, social media, anything. Like you really have to give what you want to receive and what they want to experience.
Yeah.
Because if you're not in it, like you got to step away and like remember like what you're in this for.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like you need to take a break. That's
Mm,
why people get burned out so easily because they don't see this as valuable or fun or like they kind of lose their path. So you really have to take care of yourself first
yeah.
and make sure that you're having fun. You have to find the fun in things if you're kind of losing it.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I said, authenticity, intentionality, and just having fun with it. It really comes off. Like, us interviewing right now, we're having a great conversation and this is fun for us,
Mhm.
catching up, really talking about like
What is the
our experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, like what is this? Because I feel like we do it every day, but I never sit back and really think about like what is social media marketing? Like we know what it is, right? But like what does it mean to you? And like how can what your definition change my way of thinking about it or doing better? So I super
Mhm.
appreciate this conversation because I'm learning a lot just from a different perspective, on how I can show up differently on social. Because I'm not like the most social heaviest. I'm not, you know, even though my platform is for social, personally, I'm not like a social expert. So that's why I need people like you to come in to teach.
I don't believe it.
No.
I don't believe it. You're popping off on LinkedIn, like,
On
yeah,
LinkedIn. I'm
like
heavy
I
on
never
LinkedIn
see
for
not a
sure.
smile. Like, listen,
LinkedIn, okay,
listen. You're always having a good
back.
time.
I'll take it back. I'm good on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
but like TikTok, Instagram. Listen, I barely post on those at all.
You found your audience. That's why. You found your audience, you found the niche. That's all it's about. Because we can't do everything all the time. We
Yeah.
can't be 100% on. we can't do all the platforms. That just stresses you out. Just find what feels natural, find where you get the most engagement, and find where you feel like the less burden, honestly. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to start off with everything. Just like it's like you said, or like we said, just have fun with it, just catch up with folks. And then because every piece of your life can turn into content, like that's like a pitfall in itself. But if you're having fun doing it, then it becomes easy. It's super
Yeah.
authentic. It's super something that somebody wants to watch and kind of dive deep into. So
Yeah. Oh, I'm taking it.
all
That's a
about
that's
that.
a good takeaway. You guys, that is a good takeaway right there. So there's a couple of
Listen.
fun questions. Listen. Because there's like three fun questions I want to ask, and we'll do the second in rapid speed. So, what is your favorite song right now? What are you listening to right now?
right now, right now I'm in October's about to be like Filipino History Month, I think.
Okay.
So I'm into a lot of like old school or like Filipino songs.
Oh, drop him, drop him.
Um
Gotta drop him for.
yeah, so it's like disco-y. Shout out to my Filipinos. You guys know all of them. And
Okay.
there's like this one edit where it's like it's called Bakit Pa,
Okay.
and it's like an edit with my boo. So it's by DJ Sparky. Shout out to DJ Sparky.
Okay.
And he's made an edit, and it's really nice. It really goes off with like the 80s 90s crowd, and then like the generation before us,
Okay.
like, and then like the aunties and uncles, because it's like their kind of music. So it's like a slower song ballad mixed with like my boo,
Oh, send
like
that to
the
me. Oh no, I need that. Right.
yeah,
I
yeah,
need
it
that
should
right
be
now.
really
I need
cool. Yeah,
that.
I've been into a lot of like two-step UKG stuff. It's really like party vibes.
Okay. So you guys, we'll drop that in the Bitlow spot
Yeah,
our playlist. We'll drop that. Okay, number
we'll
two
drop the drop.
is, what is your favorite brand that's doing social right now? Like you're a big fan of how they do social, how they are seen online, how they are touching their audience. What would that brand be?
Yeah, I really enjoy right now. I really enjoy um oh man, it's not legal in our state, but I really enjoy Rainbet Rainbet content. So Rainbet is a gambling platform,
Okay.
and it's a lot of these folks that have like these real these real highs and lows. This is what I do on social media.
Okay.
It's like you can really feel like the excitement or like the regret on gambling, so I don't do it.
Okay.
But it's just like it really shows you like who's using their platform, and like who's really like how does it really work, like it could be fake, but it could not be fake. But it's those reactions, you don't really get that, and you really feel that high and low effect.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for like a more kind of PC brand, not gambling. But
I mean, we can say the
I really like Diplo Run Club. I really like Diplo
game.
Run Club, just because it feels like it's that good combination of
Okay.
like social media and real life experience and wellness. It's and it's a party at the end, so I love parties.
Okay.
So it really ties a lot of the
What we talked
um
about today.
what's like importance. Yeah, exactly. Real life experience, wellness, making sure it's fun, and then even having more fun at the end where Diplo DJs. So it's like you want to be a part of that.
Mm,
You see that on social media, and you're just like, oh, like I don't know if I can run, but I do want to party at the end. So it's
I
like,
want to be
okay,
with the
so let me
vibe,
just go and run.
right?
Exactly.
Like,
Like I want to run next to Diplo or whatever.
yeah.
So it's all that. It's a really good kind of testament of how to really do social media and how to really kind of like leverage just human interactions on whatever space or whatever platform that you have.
Okay, I gotta check them out. And the last
Yeah.
question is video king on social? Yes or no?
Video is video king on social. I think so, especially with TikTok. I think what resonates on TikTok is definitely those videos. On Instagram, yeah, Instagram is good. I think it has some like carousels and some still images, but it's just there's just something about the eye and attention. When you see a video and you see you see some like immediate like interactions and reactions, and it's
Mhm.
just more entertaining, like moving pictures
Mhm.
essentially. So I would say yeah, but there's something about photos, especially if that's your niche and
Okay.
it really speaks to you. Like still photos, especially if they're composed right and like they have good lighting, they can really say 1,000 words, you know. But for the easiness of things, just
Then-
hop in front of a camera, press record, and then just you can edit it from there. Honestly,
Okay. Justin, this has been such a pleasure. Please let us know where we can find you, where we can follow you, how we can get in contact with you, and all the good things you're doing in the V.
yeah. So definitely the biggest event I have coming up. We have a drag brunch every Sunday in Vallejo.
I still have to catch
So
one.
every oh no, every fourth Sunday. Apologies. Yeah, we have October, November, December. So those are the last three. October is going to be a very good one. We're almost sold out. Just because I know Halloween and our drag brunches are really nice. You'll catch me DJing there as well.
Okay.
So it'll be like spooky vibes. That's going to be at Bambino's in Vallejo every fourth Sunday. And then you can find me at my 9 to 5 at Visit Vallejo.
Yeah.
Visit Vallejo, everything about restaurants, hotels, and like any attraction and events. And then you can find me on my personal handle, Juicy JC, JUCYJC. You can catch me DJing, event organizing, and golfing now because I'm a huge golfer now.
We're getting
Kind of
into golf
crazy.
now. Oh, I need
So
some.
I'll be golfing.
I need
Yeah,
some lessons. I need some
like
golf lessons.
yeah, I would golf more if it wasn't in like just direct sunlight. Honestly, I did my first 18 holes, and I was just like, if I wanted to go 10, I'll go to a beach, not the golf course. But it's really beautiful. Yeah, I've only like been golfing for 3 weeks, so I'll yeah, we could go to a range sometime at Blue Rock. Shout out
Oh
to Blue
yeah,
Rock.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. You
yeah,
guys
here and there.
catch him at the golf course or catch him in Vallejo, catch him at these events. But Justin, thank you so much for taking the time to chat about all things social media, marketing, events. I super appreciate it. You guys will come
Thank you,
back with that
China.
course. We'll come back with another episode, and maybe we even bring Justin back for some more conversation. I appreciate you,
Is
Justin.
there? Thank you. Peace out. Bye, 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 bye.